it ends up being contrived. Then it's like, now we're going to talk about real life stuff.
Da 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 da. I'm an introvert. I'm Jess Gorman, and I'm a theater maker, and I am also an introvert.
I'm Phil Rickaby, and I'm a writer and performer, and I am also an introvert, and this is the Introvert's Guide to.
On the Introvert's Guide to, we talk about the introvert life and how to live it to the fullest.
We'll choose a topic and discuss it, as well as try to find other helpful hints on social media and on the internet at large.
If you want to drop us a line, we would love to hear from you. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at introvertguide2, the number 2, and you can find the website at introvertsguide2.com. If you want to send us a message, you can do that through the website, or you can email us at introvertsguidetostuff@gmail.com. And remember, we may use your questions or comments on an upcoming episode of The Introvert's Guide to.
And if you like the podcast and you listen on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a comment and a 5-star rating. Your comments and ratings help new people to find the show. But even better, whether you listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, if you know someone that you think might like The Introvert's Guide to, tell them about it. Some of our favorite podcasts became our favorites because someone we know told us about them.
So listeners, I'm going to jump right in right now and tell you that we're a little like, I don't know how to say it right now. We've got the evening giggles. Like we're just a little, we're punchy. That's it. We're punchy. And Phil also didn't do his morning ritual this morning. Quite right. Is that it?
That is absolutely correct. It's one of the reasons why I'm tired. The other reason is I'm just almost always tired at the end of the day now. But I did the thing where my alarm went off and I hit my snooze button, and then I hit my snooze button again. And then I didn't set the snooze button and slept for an extra hour.
Oh, the extra hour.
But it's never a good thing. You know, you wake up, you do that thing where you're like, you know, you're asleep and then you wake up on your own. And you're like, oh, that feels so nice to wake up on my own. And that never happens oh my God, as you realize that you might be late for something. Fortunately, since I work from home, I don't have a commute, but it's still bad. It throws my whole day off.
Oh, it's still one hell of a commute.
I mean, I got to get up. I got to make my bed. I got to go all the way from there just over to my desk.
You know, I was about to make a joke about, and then you got to get over to, you know, your coffee maker and get your coffee. But it brought up a question in my head that's going to be a little bit of a callback here. Did you ever go to that coffee shop that I told you you had to go to?
Jesus Christ.
I knew it.
Yes. No.
Lies.
I know I didn't do it. You knew I didn't do it.
Don't lie to me, man. I know you.
No, but here's the problem. I have perfectly good coffee at home. It's outside.
It's across the street.
It's across the street. I have to get dressed and go there.
Someone from that coffee shop.
I do. I have gone there in the evening, and I have enjoyed it. I've gone in the evening and done some writing. Of late, I have been a lazy bones, and so I haven't done that kind of thing. But when I have done it, I quite enjoyed it.
Someone from that coffee shop has probably heard this podcast, recognized your voice, and thought to themselves, I am never going to ask how his day is. I am never going to make small talk with him. I am going to leave this man. I want him to have a home here. Someone did that for you.
If I really believed that somebody had at that coffee shop listened to this podcast and was doing that for me, I would go there twice a day every day.
I'm going to contact them and send them that episode. Anonymously. Call it guerrilla marketing. I don't know.
Guerrilla marketing. That's right. That's right. But to the topic.
To the topic.
Jess, I have a question for you.
All right.
We've talked about, when we pass an acquaintance on the street, or we're walking down the street and we see an acquaintance coming towards us, or we see them like in the distance and we know that we're going to have to walk past them. How I will pretend to be very engrossed in whatever is playing in my headphones. You will sometimes dive into a store to avoid them. So we know that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you see someone that you really like a really good friend, coming down the street towards you in the same situation?
How good
what
of
do
a
you
friend? Do? Yeah, but like, how good of a friend?
Okay, not like your best friend. Not like your best friend. But like, just like a really good friend. Somebody that you genuinely like and you enjoy talking to them.
Right. It's going to dictate what kind of swan dive I do, right? Am I going to do like a cartwheel into the store? Am I going to, do a perfect pirouette into the store? I don't know. Like, it depends. But in all seriousness, if I see a good friend and I am just on the street and I'm trying to get from A to B, I'm going to ignore them. I don't want to. I want to have the energy, but it's like look, I already had to really push myself to get out of the house and go and do the thing. I came to do the thing, and that is it. I'll text them.
Yeah. Oh, I won't. I mean, I will do the same thing where I will just really be engrossed in whatever I'm listening to. And if they don't see me, I just won't see them. I have literally walked by one of my best friends. They've been on the corner waiting for the light to change. They could see me. If I just stepped a little bit like to the right, they would see me in their line of vision. But I have just deked around them and just like completely avoided them.
Doing the Lord's work, Phil.
The thing about it is, and I think that's the ultimate question, because I'm sure that other people have done it too. What is it that we're avoiding?
It's honestly, I have to ask myself that same question every time. And I think it really just comes down to I spent so much energy out, but past that, I don't know. What am I avoiding? They could be on their way not wanting to talk to me either. I think we need to normalize the quick acquaintance acknowledgement and the good friend acknowledgement of it's so great to see you out in public. Okay, text you. I'll text you about it.
Yeah.
And then walk away. Yeah. I think we need to normalize that.
I think we should normalize like maybe a quick like wave, a quick up nod or something like that. Just that sort of thing. But I actually have a theory about, I know what I'm avoiding. I know what I'm avoiding. I am avoiding any semblance of small talk. Because if I run into somebody on the street, that's all we're going to do is we're just going to do some quick small talk. We're not going to have any depth. It's going to be like, hey, how you doing? How's work? That sort of thing. Hey, I'll talk, like just whatever it might be. And that's what I'm avoiding. I just don't want it. I just don't want it in my life.
Yeah. I've really had to practice the, I didn't see you there. The, oh, hi. Like, how are you? I've had to really practice that. That's what I'm avoiding, I think. I don't want to have to do it. And I always have like the fake laugh of the, oh, it's so good to see you. Hi. Like if you meet me in person, I'm very bubbly. I fool people into thinking I am extroverted. I'm not. And it's because of moments like this where I'm very outgoing. It's all survival.
It is all survival. It is one of those, like, I mean, will those moments of small talk like kill us? Like, that's the thing. It's like, it's not gonna hurt me, but it will deplete me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've talked about this before. Small talk is a dance. It's a little dance. And
Yes.
we're using this little dance to get to the big stuff, but the big stuff never comes. So there's no reward.
Yeah.
There's no payoff.
No.
It's
No,
great to
especially
see
when you're
these
like,
people.
yes. Especially when you're on the street with, like, you're running to somebody on the street, there's not going to be a payoff because you're both going someplace. And then you're like that. The small talk can't move on to anything deeper than just like the weather, your job, how you're doing, that sort of thing. So what's the point, really?
Okay, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
Have you ever, start to deke away, go and pretend like you didn't see this person, but they saw you and they did call you out on it, maybe? Or did you pretend not to hear them and keep going?
I have pretended not to hear them. I wear headphones or earbuds for a reason.
Yeah, me too.
Even if I don't have anything on, but I always have like a podcast or an audiobook or music or something on, and it does help with somebody being like, if somebody is calling you, that you can sort of like act like you didn't see them. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you two examples. Once I was doing that, and I was walking, and a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a while was across the street. And I was like, I'd come to the corner and I saw them, and I started to do that thing where I go, you start to turn your head so that you can't make eye contact with them. And then they waved. And I went, oh, and then I was like, oh yeah, hi. And they ran across the street and they gave me a big hug, and it was great. We had a little conversation, and it was nice to see them, but I didn't want it in that moment.
No,
As much as I was like happy to see that person, I wish that I'd seen them in a situation where we could sit down and we weren't both going someplace. So it was just like, I didn't want that in that moment. But again, they waved and I looked, and there was, of course, if they'd waved and I hadn't looked, then I would have been a really bad person.
I had someone wave at me and I still didn't acknowledge them.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like we're in a safe space. I feel like previous episodes have made me sound pretty bad.
No, we absolutely are in a safe space, and I understand it. I'm going to be honest. If I could have been in the situation and that person waved at me, as much as I like them, and I could have gotten away with not seeing them, I would have.
Yeah.
But the wave caught my attention, and I looked.
Oh.
I looked right at them, and then they immediately started running across the street to me. So it wasn't like I could be like, I'm trapped now. Right? Like, I can't be like, oh, my eyes can't like gloss over this person. They've seen me see them, and now they are running across the street to me.
Oh gosh. Yeah, no, I think in my head I already made the game plan of trying to keep them just out of my peripheral.
Yeah.
I had the plan already, and I was like, I just had to turn my shoulders just so, and I could see them doing the whole like, Jess, like, I know. And I was like, oh, I don't feel good. I have to go. I don't want to do this. And like, I kept going on my merry way. And then sure enough, I got the ping, like a text message come up, be like, did you not see me? I was like,
how quickly did that text message come in? How quickly did it come in?
So quick. Record breaking. Like, it barely pinged off the tower.
So you basically managed to like get out of the way, and they were already typing at you.
It's so quick, but here's the thing. I knew they were going to text fast. I had to book it because I can't do the whole like, I'm 5 seconds, like I can just turn, you're right in my vision. You can't be more than like, 10 feet away. So if I turn around, They'd be like, do you not see me? I have to be able to turn around and be like, oh, there you are, right? You know what I'm saying? I had to be far enough away for it to be too late.
Far enough away. Absolutely. Yep. So that when that text comes in, you have to, because if they're texting you and you're close enough, if you read that text, you have to turn around. You've got to turn around and like talk to them.
And that's it. You have to be ready to go. It's fight or flight. Now, am I condoning ignoring people and avoiding them?
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah. I am. Yeah. I'm condoning it.
Listen, I'll be honest. I like meeting up with people. I like meeting up with people one-on-one. I like having great conversations with people. But I want to do it in a situation where both I know that it's going to happen, and we're in a situation that is conducive to having a proper conversation, not like standing on the street, not like while we're going places.
Now, if you've, let's put it out there hypothetically. You have seen the person that you know. They haven't seen you yet. You've made the decision in your head you're going to avoid them. You've made that decision, okay? But then they see you. And then they spark up the small talk. And then they ask, can I tag along with you? What do you do? I see utter worry.
Oh my God.
I have been waiting all episode to ask that hypothetical. It's terrifying to think
It depends on what honestly, it depends on what I'm doing. Right.
Okay.
It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm going grocery shopping, I mean, I guess that's weird, but okay. But then a part of me thinks that we need to normalize errand friend visits.
Yeah.
I'm going to the grocery store. You want to hang out? Then you can chat with somebody, talk to somebody while you're shopping, that sort of thing. Whatever that might be. I think those are fine. But again, on my terms, I want to be prepared for it. If the person is oh, hey, no, where are you going? Can I tag along? I'm probably going to be like, oh, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be like, I'm just going to there's something. I'm just going.
I would just be, all I would be able to say is I have to go and then just leave. Just be gone. I'm out.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's something that I really
grocery
have to,
shopping.
and you're gone. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even grocery shopping. That's personal for me. I don't want anyone judging my food choices. I don't want I just don't want them being like, wow, she gets a lot of strawberries and pineapple. That's weird. I don't want anyone thinking about that about my food choices. Darn it. Back off. Don't ask. Ask.
Can we just we should talk about this. Do you really think that anybody's going to look down on you for the amount of pineapple and strawberries that you get? They're probably going to be impressed, and they're probably going to be like, I should have more strawberries.
Honestly, yeah. If pineapple is where it's at, people. Just putting that out there. That was my pregnancy food, and it stuck.
And you still having it?
Yeah, and green apples. I eat a green apple every day with peanut butter.
Okay.
Every morning. Could not leave the house without it. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you an embarrassing on the street story. One of the this is almost worse than somebody seeing you and you having to ignore them.
Buckle in.
I'm walking with Melanie. We're walking up Main Street in the neighborhood where she lives. So we're walking up the street and somebody is walking towards me. And I don't usually look at people. I don't want to invite their, interactions. So I'm just I see that there are people, but I don't really pay attention to who they are for the most part. And this person is walking with, I suppose, their wife, their partner, and I think a baby carriage. And as they get approximately just in front of me, this person goes, oh, hey, Phil, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. And I had no idea who they were. So I said, hey, I'm doing great. Great to see you. And I just kept walking with Melanie. Because I was like, I don't remember your name and you know mine.
I'm starting to cry.
It's time to run. I'm drowning here. It is, you know who I am. I can't remember your name. I think maybe we used to work together. It's time to go. And Melanie was like, oh, who was that? And I was like, I don't have an idea.
Was she asking that while you were flying down the street? Like, just flying behind you?
We just kept going. She's astute enough to not say anything while we are in earshot of the person. She's really good at reading when I go into introvert mode or things like that. And she's really smart, and she waited until we were far enough away from that person that when she went, who was that? They wouldn't hear. And I said, I don't have a clue.
It's like the best thing I've heard. I love that. That's up there with Lair. Or like your role play. That's up there. It's so you. But I just have to say, I love you so much that I would absolutely throw you under the bus.
So if we were walking down the street and like together, and somebody was having
a nice
somebody
time.
Was like, hey,
we're just
Phil,
chatting.
I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? And it was clear that I was like, I don't know who you are. Great to see you. Bye. And you would be like, who was that? Who is that, Phil? Introduce me.
Even better. Just as he's saying, hey, Phil, how's it going? Nice to see ya. And you responding, going, yeah, nice to see you too. I jump in and be like, oh, why don't you introduce us? Yep. I would.
That's not loving, Jess. That's not love.
That's loving for me. That's self-care. That'd live rent free in my head for years to come. Because
that also conflicts with another rule that I have about introducing people. The rule that I have about introducing people, because this has happened to me far too many times, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm introducing somebody, say a significant other, to a group of people. And this happens because, peripheral theater people, all that sort of stuff. There's always a bunch of people, and you have to introduce your significant other. And I love introducing Melanie because she's so awesome. And so I go to a group of people, and I'll be like, okay, so this is so-and-so. Like, I'll be like, this is Bob, Jeff, Amanda, Sarah, and...
And you are praying in their head that they will jump in and introduce themselves.
I will forget one person's name. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good a friend we are. It doesn't matter how long I have known them. It does not matter. I could see these people every day for years. I could know their names in any other circumstance, but at that moment, I don't know their names. I've forgotten that person's name. It's going to happen. I'm going to forget one person's name, and they will be offended.
I forget people's names all the time.
Sure. Do you forget people's names when you're introducing other people to them?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I have ADHD, man.
Yes. See, I don't have that. I should just claim it. I should just be like, I'm sorry,
honorary.
I have ADHD. And everybody be like,
You're honorary.
Everybody be like, is that new? I'd be like, yeah, new.
Yeah. Big self-discovery journey.
Yeah. And then there's Jess beside me going, no, you don't.
You never told me that. Really? When? I'm so happy for you, Phil. This is great news because you've never once mentioned it. Once.
No. There's the other downside is that because I know I'm going to forget one person's name. Mm-hmm. The worst person's name to forget would be the person I'm introducing.
Has this happened?
No, but I live in fear because I have forgotten people's names that I've worked with every day.
Right.
And so when I'm introducing a new person to a group of people, I do the person. This is everybody. Everybody, this is person. Or whatever. Like, I want them to do the introduction, because that way I'm not going to forget anybody. Because if people didn't get offended, if people allowed you to just like forget somebody's name, and they weren't like, gee, I work with you every day for the last 5 years. Least you could do is remember my name. People
Again, me
understand
standing
that.
Beside you. Phil, do better. We're punchy.
So punchy. I think, like, I've been thinking since we decided we were going to talk about this topic, I have been trying to think, is there somebody that I know, and so I'm going to ask you the same question. Is there anybody that you know that if you saw them coming towards you when you're out doing something, you would wave at them and initiate the small talk with them?
Yes, but they have to meet certain criteria. So I haven't formulated this in my own head, so I'm just pulling this. It lives in my head of what that criteria is. But usually it's no, not even they have to be a family member, because I'll ignore family too. Not a, again, just everyone. No one's safe. So I would say there has to be someone I haven't seen in a long time. Somebody I don't get to talk to often. Not like I could reach out on Messenger anytime I wanted to. So if I don't talk to them here, I'm not going to talk to them for a long time. And it's got to be someone who's made some sort of impact on my life. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be someone that I really had a meaningful connection with. That's my criteria. So that doesn't happen often. Yeah.
No. See, that's the criteria. But the question is there somebody that you can think of, a specific person, who would meet that criteria, that if you saw them on the street, you would be the one to initiate the contact?
No such person comes to my mind. I'd have to see it. Not one person is coming to my mind where I go, I should go and say hi. Okay, you know what? I changed my answer. Maybe my sister. If I saw my sister, my mom and dad. That's it. They have to be those three or meet the criteria.
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
Because literally, that's it. What, am I going to not say hi to Steve if I see him? Well. Well.
Oh, same. I mean, if I see Melanie on the street, I'm obviously going to say hello. It would be unusual for us to not know that we are going to meet up, but if that happened, I would say hello, and I'd go over, and we would probably, go off and like have lunch or something or whatever it is, depending on where we're headed. Aside from that, I guess like a parent, again, family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aside from that,
be like, I'm good.
Yeah. Aside from that, no.
No one's coming to your head either.
No, not a soul.
Beside the obvious. Right. Exactly. And I'm happy with that. I'm content. My life's good.
Yeah, I'm good with it too. We sort of mentioned, I sort of suggested that maybe it was the fear of having to engage in small talk. But do we really think that's the thing? Do we really think that it's just small talk, or is it that we are focused on where our energy is going because we're out in the world, or what do you think it is? Like, really?
I think, okay, so I've always had an anxiety of having to buffer a conversation. That's like, it's not even just small talk. It's when you say the small talk and they still kind of stand there thinking more conversation's coming. I always feel like the onus is on me to figure out what to say next, to be engaging. And that just is probably pressure I put on myself. And I feel like it's in the past where it's happened, where I've been the one to have to think up the entertainment, right? But I think it comes down to, do I want to have to put out the energy to buffer this right now? Because I can't. And I, again, am working on it where I don't act as bubbly and chipper and, hey, how are ya? What's going on? And because my cheeks hurt. Frankly, my cheeks hurt after that, and I don't want to do it anymore.
I don't know if you were able to see my body language as you described that moment where you're both standing there in silence and the expectation is that somebody's going to say something else and all you want to do is run away. Like my shoulders went up to my ears. It's so uncomfortable. It's
Yeah.
so
So
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
It's almost as uncomfortable as if you are sucked into that moment when you have to have that conversation. That person said hello. They basically waved at you. Their welcome got through your headphones and you've had the small talk. And you're saying, all right, I guess we should go. Hey, great running into you, whatever you say. And then it turns out you're going in the same direction.
Oh, no. No, it's happened. It's happened. And I don't care. I don't care. I'll take the long way. I'm going somewhere else. If they start, I've made my plan. If I start to go and they go the same direction, and they're about to have that, oh, are you going the same way kind of look in their eyes, I immediately go, I'm going the wrong way. Oops, have a good day. And then I've done it. I pretend to go the wrong way and I just go. And then I'm sitting there on Google Maps like, how the hell do I get there from here? Like,
you're not afraid that like once you finally get back, you'll like come around and they'll still be like going and be like, hey, look, it's you again.
I do think about that. It's never happened, but I'm prepared. If it happens and we're at the crossroads, again, go the opposite direction. But you make the funny, like, you're jogging like, oh, I'm going to be late. Gotta go. I don't care at that point. At that point, I'm running. I feel like with this episode, I feel like we're not, listeners, we don't want to offer you advice on how to survive these moments. We want to acknowledge that they happen and you shouldn't feel guilty about them. I think we need to normalize.
That's what I'm going to say.
Needing to,
100%.
We need to normalize not needing to say anything.
No, listen. When I go out into the world, my preference is, for the most part, if I go out into the world by myself, I expect to be by myself for the entire time that I'm out in the world. That's what I've prepared myself for. That's what my plan is. I have no interest at that time in talking to most people, except for the criteria we previously mentioned. So I'm just out there to be by myself, not to like have a conversation. I'm wearing earbuds for a reason, even if there's nothing playing in them. I am just trying to be in the world alone.
And that's just it. I just want to be left alone. And I don't think anyone should have to feel guilty about that. I remember telling some friends of mine that I saw someone, just in a story. I saw so-and-so. I didn't say anything. I just, I was wanting to get going. They're like, oh, you didn't say... What nice to know how it's been with them. You should have said something. I would have loved to have heard about their story, how they're doing. I have told them, you can reach out yourself. If you want to know how they're doing, you can say something. It doesn't have to be on me.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. Oh, if you want to know so bad, you can message them. It's not my job. It's not my job. I happened to see them, and I chose not to speak to them. If I want to find out, I can message them, but then so can you.
And with that, I've had it before where family members, I've told them I saw another family member that we haven't talked to in years, and I saw them on the street the other day. And again, the same response. Well, why didn't you say anything? What if they saw you? You should have said hi. And immediately I came back with, they didn't say anything either. Still not on me. I have things I have to do. It's not my job to go and say hello. That's not the kind of person I am. It's very fake. And I think they'd see right through that.
Absolutely. Because you're gonna walk up. And also, you can't always be sure that the person that you see has seen you. In which case, for example, I saw one of my best friends. They were waiting for the light to change, as I mentioned. I could have put myself into their vision for them to see me. But also, if they hadn't seen me, then as I come up to them, they, being a female person, being a woman, I am a man that they don't know. In that moment, they haven't seen me yet. I'm a male person who's walking over to them and they don't know. So they're already like ready because I'm invading
You're
their
tall.
space, right?
You're a tall man.
And so they don't need that, right? If they haven't
Right.
seen me, like I don't need to be the. Like, I'm sure at first they're going to be like, and then maybe they'll be glad to see me. But I put them through male person coming into their space, and they don't need that.
Yeah. It's little things like that that some gender demographics maybe forget. But yes, appreciate it to
100%,
put that out there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I do think, like as we were saying, the normalization of not seeing somebody and not having to feel like you see them. I appreciate every acquaintance, every friend, every person that has seen me on the street, has seen me very deliberately not look at them, and they have very deliberately not looked at me. I think that is an act of love in itself. I appreciate them so much for doing that, even though I know that as we walk by each other, we kind of do this side eye thing where we know that we've seen each other, but we're trying not to see each other. We've done it. We've all done it. And I appreciate them so much for doing that for me.
Speaking of that, I would like to give an opposite side of the coin story.
Sure.
I saw a friend of mine who I hadn't seen in a long time. And they looked like they were, just minding their own business. Everything was fine. We both made eye contact. And I could see in his eyes, it was like that weird, like, do I say anything? Do I go over there? And I just looked over and just went, just a little smile, and that's it, and walked away. I got a message from this person like 2 days later. And they messaged to say thank you. Because they were having a really bad day. And they just were not in the mood to talk to anybody. And they were so appreciative of just having the acknowledgement. And it was like I didn't know, I just could tell that you got it. And I was like, I had no idea, actually. You looked like just having a day. That's all. You were just minding your own business, but I get it. And I think that's something that other people need to keep in mind too, is just because you see them doesn't mean you should always go up and try to make conversation. You don't know what's going on in somebody's day. That's the other side of it that I sometimes forget is, they might not want to talk to you either, though.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. There've definitely been days when like I've had a rough day at work, especially back in the day, when you're commuting to the office and like coming home from the day, and the idea of running into somebody on that commute and having them want to have a conversation when I am fully depleted from the day is just a bad scene. Like it's they don't know that, but it happens more often than not. That like at the end of the day, I definitely need this commute to be alone.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. It's like, sorry. I just looked at the time and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. That's why. Here's the thing. I don't think we have a lesson for this one. There isn't like a moral to this story, except to say that it is okay, no matter how good a friend it is that you see on the street, it is fully fine to pull a Jess Gorman and dive into a store to avoid seeing them.
Yeah, it's not one of my finest moments. Looking back is like okay, you didn't have to go into the store. Like, you could have just kept walking. But it was survival mode. And like, I feel this is something that we don't talk about at all in the introverted community. you can go online and like there's psychology as to why we avoid people we like, but it's attraction related. It's the why do we ignore our crushes? Why do we want to not be around these people? That's a different psychology. But it's something that we don't talk about. We feel like we're committing a social faux pas. And I don't think we're committing a faux pas unless you're me and full out ignore these people pretending not to see them. Like that's bordering. That's towing the line a little.
I don't even think that's a faux pas. Listen, I think that we have to normalize the whole thing. We have to normalize the fact that in many situations when we are out in the world, we are not in the headspace to be stopped and to have a conversation. Just not. And that is okay. And we, no matter what the circumstance is, we need to be okay with that.
Amen. Hear, hear.
Because I think a lot of the literature, if you look online, if you happen to come across that, there's going to be advice on how to overcome that, right? That's what it's mostly going to be. How to overcome the small talk of running into somebody on the street. And I want to say that you don't have to overcome that. Just keep ignoring people that you know on the street.
Yeah, like that's just it. You know, we're not trying to overcome something because there's nothing to gain from it. What are you going to gain?
For sure. Yeah.
Like not everything should be a what's in it for me situation. It doesn't always have to be transactional, but there really is no foundation for a good time, I guess. Like this.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Absolutely. There's again, like you said, it's not about what you can gain, but like, let's think about it of what you could lose. And what could you lose is whatever momentum you have for going to where you're going. You could lose some of the spoons that you've collected to do what you need to do. Your battery can be depleted by it. And now you're like, well, now I don't have the energy to go and do the thing I was going to do. That's your stuff. And it's perfectly valid to protect that by ignoring your best friend when you see them on the street.
Now, with that said, I would love to hear from our listeners some of the ways that they've avoided people. Because we all know my store diving story. We all know Phil's best friend at the crosswalk story. So I think we need to hear from our listeners, and I do encourage you all to write in with your juicy stories.
Absolutely. Please do.